Okay, I know we've got a lot to cover today and we're expecting quite a few more, but we will get started. So, welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on BMC Helix Dashboards 25.4. We're going to be doing an overview today, and there's a big team that's joining us. Nikhil will be doing most of the main presenting, but joining us today is Nikhil, Vikram, Shripal, Kashita, and Ashruba. And we've also got a couple of our product specialists within the customer success adoption team. They will also be answering some questions as well. What we would ask is if you do have any questions during this session, because there's a lot being covered, if you can put those into the Q&A section, which you'll find at the bottom of your screen. Until towards the end, you will remain muted. However, we will try to get through your questions as they come in. Nikhil will also be doing a bit of a demo recording, so during that time we'll have more time to answer some questions as well. So Nikhil, without further ado, because I know there is a lot for us today, I'm going to hand over to you to get us formally started. Over to you.
Thank you, Sam, and welcome to our participants from wherever you're joining us from all over the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Nikhil Deshpande. I am a product manager for Helix Dashboards, and I'm excited to be back presenting one more webinar on the exciting capabilities of BMC Helix Dashboards. For the past couple of years, Helix Dashboards has grown in adoption, and customers look forward to new capabilities in Helix Dashboards. Insight Finder, which is our foray into AI, we started delivering Insight Finder capabilities since 25.2, and this is the third release where we have delivered more capabilities in Insight Finder. So we'll look at what's new in Helix GPT Insight Finder. We'll also look at a few other capabilities across Helix dashboards. Let's look at the highlights of the 25.4 release. So Insight Finder now has a comprehensive coverage of BMC Helix products as well as large language models. So in terms of products, we started with ITSM, incident, problem, and change. Then we expanded to cover CMDB and asset management in previous releases. And in this release in 25.4, we also cover digital workplace. We now cover business workflows. And within ITSM, we expanded further. So beyond the core capabilities, we now also support work order management, task management. Then there are ticket to ticket relationships. So ITSM, by its very nature, supports relationships across different ticket types. Incidents have parent incidents. Incidents are related to problems, changes, releases, tasks, CIs. Likewise, changes are related to other ticket types and to asset CIs. So we now support reporting across all of these domains so that because we know that in ITSM, tactical information needs aren't just about incidents or just about changes or just CMDB. Oftentimes, information requirements go across these domains, and it's necessary for users to be able to get down to the details of how different ticket types relate to one another. Another uh, common question I've received in the past is how does Insight Finder support metrics? So now in this release, we have started supporting metrics. You can look at some of the key metrics that we support within ITSM, and we'll get to that in a moment. On the ITOM side, Insight Finder has started supporting service health and predictions. These are two key capabilities within our ITOM portfolio, and in this release, we have started supporting both of them. There are a few UI improvements based on feedback we received from customers. We've now added the ability to start over, and there are also prompt recommendations, which is an exciting feature where an Insight Finder partners with the user to further analyze data. Our support for large language models has also grown. We now know that all large language model vendors are launching newer models or newer versions of their existing models at a fast pace. And we have a responsibility to keep pace with the newer models that are being launched. So in this release, we've started supporting GPT 4.1 Earlier, we just supported GPT-4. Now we support 4.1. Besides, we also support Gemini 2.5 Flash. So a more recent version of Gemini is 2.5, and so we have started supporting 2.5 Flash. So within ITSM, these are some newer things or newer fields or capabilities that we have started supporting. The key metrics in incident management, major incident fields, so identification of major incidents, major incident candidate, and so on. Reassign count, how many times was an incident reassigned? We've also started showing audit logs. So if you want to include any audit log data in your Insight Finder visualizations, you can do that. An audit log is not just for incidents across different ticket types. We have started supporting audit log. We've also added several metrics in change management. So change start delay, end delay. So based on when a change was scheduled to begin, what was the actual change start time relative to the planned start date? Did it start on time? Was there a delay? How much was there a delay? And when you report across a group of transactions, when you're reporting across all changes assigned to a specific group or all change requests for a specific business service, you can get to the aggregates of all of these metrics: change start delay, end delay, deviation from target date, the change execution time, which is the start date of execution to the end date of execution. We also help you generate metrics on the number of successful changes, number of failed changes, and so on. So this will help your users generate dashboards involving metrics and these newer capabilities in ITSM. We've also started supporting localization, and we'll get to a demo of localization. We have started supporting a few languages. French, German, and Spanish are the three languages that Insight Finder supports now. Moving on beyond Insight Finder, we continue to improve our existing capabilities within Helix Dashboards. So we know that as more and more customers adopt archival in ITSM, there is a need to support these archive views within Visual Query Builder. So in this release, we have released archive views for service level management and knowledge management. Archive views for other ticket types already exist. So all of it, incident, problem, change, asset management, all of it was already available in previous releases. And we hope that this helps you embrace ITSM archival to improve your performance. We've added within the ability to export your dashboards to the CSV format. We have now allowed you to configure it to exclude the header. So the column header is, you can choose at runtime, you can choose to exclude the column header when exporting your dashboard. HTML export, this was supported in previous releases also, but in this release, we have started supporting the ability to include your aggregates. So aggregate functions such as mean or median, which were not supported in HTML earlier, are now supported. With that, we are now going to get to our product demos. So I'm going to play a recording of the key features of this release.
Hello, I'm Nikhil Deshpande. I'm going to walk you through a product demo of Insight Finder version 25.4. Let's look at the settings because here's where you'll need to enable a key feature we have introduced in 25.4, which is follow-up recommendations. Up until now, when Insight Finder responded to any prompt, it would do so with a visualization. Now, along with that visualization, Insight Finder will also proactively provide you a few more prompts which are relevant to your analysis. And the user may consider selecting those prompts. You can click on those prompts to execute them. This goes beyond just generating a visualization. This is about how Insight Finder can partner with the user to help them improve their experience of analyzing data. This feature needs to be enabled, so you click on Enable Follow-up Recommendations. And now let's go to Insight Finder. So now I'm going to show you some new features supported in incident management. Let's start with ITSM. We'll start with incident management, and in that you'll see how Insight Finder generates follow-up recommendations. I can also show you some new features we have introduced in Insight Finder, especially the support for new metrics. We now have pre-calculated metrics in Insight Finder that you can use in your prompts. So I can show you some of these. Another major improvement is the ability to query ITSM across different ticket types. So we know that in ITSM you can relate incidents to other incidents, problems, changes, work orders, CIs, tasks, and so on. And not just incidents. Across all ticket types, there are several types of relationships. And oftentimes it becomes necessary for service desk personnel to generate data across how tickets are related to one another. So that is supported in 25.4. I'll show you a few sample prompts with incident management. Count of open incidents grouped by business service CI. So we got this result set. You now have new prompt recommendations. Show the count of resolved incident count grouped by business service CI. Display the average time to resolve incidents for each business service CI. Note that these prompts are not validated by Insight Finder. They come from the model that you have enabled, that you have activated, whether it's GPT or Gemini, and it does so based on its understanding of the underlying data model of this application, that's ITSM. And you can click on any of those prompts to see those results. So this is how you can continue to get, with every time you run a prompt, you'll get new recommendations, and you can click on those recommendations to further continue your analysis. Let's look at this. You'll also have noticed that when I clicked on one of those recommended prompts, it implicitly started a new topic. This is necessary because sometimes it may require you to change the context of what you're querying the system with. So we don't see any data because maybe we don't have good data here. It was able to successfully execute that prompt, and see how you now get new recommendations about what your new relevant context-aware recommendations of prompts. Let's move on. Now let's look at some metrics. Let's start with mean time to resolve for incidents resolved in the past month. Okay, so we see MTTR has been generated 2.52. You can always check the query. We introduced this capability in the previous release. You can see for yourself how this calculation is done. It's the date difference between the submit date and the last resolve date, and for incidents that are resolved or closed. Let's move on to some other prompts. Okay, so I've entered a prompt to show the incident age grouped by company for all open incidents that were submitted in the past 1 month. I've also specified the formula. So this is one of the strengths of Insight Finder. You can specify the formula for your metric on the fly, and the Insight Finder will make that calculation based on how you define the formula. So now we see incident age in days. We asked for data in days. If you had asked for data in hours, it would have shown it so, and it does so for all incidents that are open. So you can see the statuses, assigned, in progress. These are all open incidents. Now let's move on to some cross-ticket prompts. List all incidents that were caused by other incidents along with their parent incident details. So we know one incident can be related to another incident with a relationship type of caused by. So we see those details. And likewise, you can run prompts to go from incidents to changes and other ticket types. Now let's move on to another topic, work orders. Count of work orders submitted in the past 2 weeks. Breakdown of work orders by status as a bar chart for work orders submitted in the past 1 month. We asked for a bar chart and we got the result as a bar chart. Breakdown of work orders submitted in the past 3 months, grouped by product categorization. Yeah. So we get a count of work orders grouped by product categorization, tier 1, this is tier 2, and this is tier 3, and so on. Yet another area that Insight Finder supports is task management. List of all tasks with high and medium priority created in the past week. Now let's move on to business workflows. Count of cases by status. When running prompts on business workflows, you can use the term cases, or sometimes you might have to use the term BWF cases to help Insight Finder understand. Usually it understands cases. It also depends on the model you use. So yes, here I can see I got results for my prompt, count of cases grouped by status. Okay, we don't have any, so we got 0. You can also run prompts to view detailed listings of records. So here we ask for details of cases in the pending status, including status reason. Yeah, so we got the result we asked for, and if necessary, if you want to add more columns, you can do that. If you don't, as always, in listing type of prompts, if you don't specify the list of columns, you're allowing the model to decide which columns to display. But of course, you can specify which fields you want. And you can, as a follow-up prompt, you can add new fields, you can remove fields, you can order, ascending order, descending order, and so on. Let's show a few aggregate prompts. Aggregate count of cases by countries submitted in the current year as a bar chart. Okay, so we see the distribution of cases across different countries. You can also ask for age, average age of open cases by assigned group. Okay, so there we see the result. Now let's look at some Insight Finder use cases for AIOps. We'll start with events. So give me all the open events in the last 7 days, grouped by severity, and we have asked for this to be visualized as a pie chart, and there you go. We see this visualization. Next one, show counts of open events grouped by severity. So here we have qualified events by status, that's open, and we have asked it to be grouped by an attribute of events, which is the severity, and here we see the distribution across different severity levels. The next prompt is on situations, count of situations grouped by status. There we see a distribution of situations by the status of those situations. That's about events. Now let's move on to metrics. So there we see the trend of CPU utilization for a specific host. If you hover your mouse on the chart, you can even view the values at a specific point in time. We saw CPU utilization. The next one is memory utilization. There we see a memory utilization trend now. Now let's move on to service health. So events and metrics are also supported in 25.3, whereas in 25.4 we expanded support to service health and predictions. So we'll start with service health first. Show health score metric for email service. Instead, even if you write your prompt as show service health metric for email service, that also will work. It's important to enclose the name of the service in single quotes. So we see a health score metric. Since it's a point in time metric, we see it as a stat panel. Now let's look at a few prompts on predictions. Yeah, so we see a prediction events, a listing, a tabular listing with several attributes. Just as in service management, you can add or remove columns as necessary. So next we'll refine this prompt a bit more. Prediction events grouped by severity, and we also specify the visualization as pie chart. Yep. Next prompt is on prediction events grouped by status. And the next one is a trend of prediction events. There we see a trend of prediction events.
Hello all, I am happy to show you now the new features in Insight Finder 25.4 for locale. In this release, it's allowed to use different locales like Spanish, French, and German. I will explain Spanish locale and switching to Spanish now. Bienvenidos a esta parte de la demo donde vamos a cambiar a español para explicar esta nueva funcionalidad. Mi entorno actualmente está en inglés, voy a mi perfil, al profile, y desde aquí en idiomas lo cambiamos directamente a español y guardamos los cambios. Una vez guardados estos cambios, vamos a ver que el menú de la parte de la izquierda está totalmente en español y nos vamos a centrar en el Helix GPT Insight Finder. Aquí aparece ya directamente en qué puede ayudarle y podemos empezar a escribir en español. Vamos a hacer una gráfica de incidencias que nos muestre cuál es la distribución de incidencias por estado. Podemos hacer incidencias, cambios, problemas, activos, y actualmente en la versión 25.4 se han incluido las órdenes de trabajo y también los casos de Business Workflow. En este gráfico que ya nos acaba de mostrar vemos que el título está totalmente en español, vemos aquí la información, vemos esta información, esta descripción, ¿vale?, de nuestro gráfico, que también aparece todo en español, incluyendo los estados, y vemos que aquí los estados los ha traducido directamente a español. Si hubiéramos elegido nuestro idioma en alemán, lo veríamos en alemán, o en francés, en nuestro caso lo vemos en español. Es decir, se hace la traducción de todos estos menús, como son la prioridad, como es el estado, en estas gráficas. Si queremos añadir una nueva gráfica o una nueva tabla, pulsamos en nuevo tema y ponemos qué es lo que queremos, ¿no? Muestra incidencias con prioridad crítica que se hayan dado de alta en los últimos 6 meses. Estamos filtrando en tiempo, ¿vale? Los últimos 6 meses, pero también que hayan sido críticas. Vemos que el campo prioridad crítica está también traducido. Vemos que el campo estado está traducido, ¿vale? Luego ya tenemos resumen, que el resumen es dependiendo del idioma en el que lo haya escrito el usuario, así lo vamos a ver. Y luego, por último, tenemos aquí, por ejemplo, el grupo asignado, que es el nombre del grupo que hemos configurado y dado de alta en la parte de ITSM. Hacemos un nuevo gráfico pulsando el nuevo tema y ahora vamos a cambiar, ¿vale? De incidencias, pues en vez de incidencias vamos a hacer uno del módulo de cambios. Enséñame los cambios agrupados por grupo de soporte asignado. Muéstralo como diagrama de barras. En este caso lo está calculando y ahora mismo nos lo mostrará este diagrama de barras con los grupos asignados. Vemos igualmente que lo tenemos título en español, esta descripción de la gráfica en español y vemos aquí cantidad de registros de cambios, también todo en español, ¿vale? Como nuevo tema vamos a hacer un pequeño ejemplo de las órdenes de trabajo, que es nuevo en esta versión. ¿Cuántas órdenes de trabajo se han abierto en 2025 y cuántas de estas se han cerrado? ¿Vale? Va a mostrar como un doble marcador. Aquí vemos las abiertas son 10, las cerradas de estas 10 es solo una, lo voy a hacer un poquito más grande. ¿Vale? Y sobre esta gráfica podemos hacer modificaciones, como cambia el título, tenemos órdenes de trabajo abiertas y cerradas en 2025, yo quiero cambiar el título a órdenes de trabajo 2025, sin nada más, ¿vale? Directamente lo comentamos desde aquí y lo vamos viendo. Y aquí lo tenemos, nos ha cambiado el título. Por último, vamos a hacer otro caso de uso de la parte de Business Workflow. Muéstrame los casos que hay ahora mismo en Business Workflow, en esta parte. Y nos está calculando la gráfica o la tabla que a continuación mostrará. Y aquí la tenemos. Vemos que tenemos la prioridad que está traducida, ¿vale? El resumen en el idioma que el usuario lo haya puesto y yo aquí he hecho en falta dos campos que yo quiero añadir. Uno es la línea de negocio para saber a qué línea de negocio pertenece y el otro es el estado, ¿vale? Pues lenguaje natural, lo ponemos aquí, añade la línea de negocio y añade el estado. Y vemos ahora este nuevo campo de línea de negocio con las líneas que tengamos dependiendo de las que hayamos dado de alta y el estado del caso, como veis nuevamente lo vemos en español, que puede ser nuevo, puede estar en curso, que lo vemos aquí, cancelado, ¿vale? Asignado, resuelto los distintos estados, ¿vale? Y esto es lo que os quería enseñar hoy. Espero que os haya sido de utilidad y muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, myself Kshitija Marathi. I'm from Helix Dashboards R&D team. Today I'll talk about 25.4 features, which includes HTML footer calculations and a new view related to archive got added in 25.4. Let me start with HTML footer calculations. So as on today, we are showing this footer on UI, and whenever you download the report in the form of PDF or Excel, then you will see these footers are added in the report. But when you will choose HTML as a format, then it was not supported. So now we are supporting footer in HTML format as well. Now let's look at, I'll go here and manage scheduled reports. And I'll clone this just for testing. Give it a name as test. I have selected this dashboard, HTML footer calculations, and I have a report type set as HTML. And here I'll choose my mail ID so that we can check the report. Now, once I'm done with these settings, I'll just hit send test email to show how it is showing the footer. So here we can see I got this email, and you will see it is with the footer calculations. And if you can see, these records are crossing the limit of 50. So once it crosses the limit of 50, then you will start seeing the ellipsis here. But the footer calculations are applied on the complete data set. Coming back again here, we have one more enhancement done in this scheduled report UI. So if you will see, there are 3 options available now here. The new option is append date to file name. So if I say, if I select append date to file name, then I used to get earlier as MMDDYYYY as a default format. But now I get a list of formats, and I can select one of the format which is suitable to my need. So earlier it was not configurable, and it used to support only MMDDYYYY format. Also, I want to mention the HTML footer calculations related one of the thing. It is feature flag protected. So BHD table footer feature flag need to be enabled in order to start using this feature. Going ahead with the next feature, which is about new archived view. So here I'll create new dashboard. Yes. So here I'm adding one visualization. I've selected query type as service management and type as visual query builder. Now here I will select ITSM knowledge management archive view. And in the left pane, you will start seeing the different categories like article details, feedback, update request, article usage. These all fields are being pulled from the archive tables of knowledge management application. So let me quickly show a simple report which will show the knowledge article details. So I'm pulling in article title, article author, and article status English. And now I'll hit preview. I can see knowledge articles from the archive data. Now here I can check the SQL as well, and you will be able to confirm that the data is being pulled from knowledge article manager archive table. I'll use this query, switch to table, and apply these changes. Now here you're seeing article status English So these statuses we are able to see based on how you have configured the knowledge articles policy for archival. So you need to mention the condition, like if I want to archive only cancelled knowledge articles, then I need to configure article status English as cancelled whenever I'm configuring knowledge management archival policy. Based on that, you will see the data in your report whenever you are trying to fetch the archived data.
All right, so that's the end of the demo. I'm now going to hand over to Sam for the summary slide. Over to you,
Yeah,
Sam.
thank you. So just a recap, and thank you, Nikhil, and for those that did the presenting today. Just a bit of a summary. For some of you that are already on this call, you may have come to some of the workshops. So the adoption team, which is also Marta and Veronica that have joined us today, their team have been doing workshops the last couple of months and will be continuing to do them right until the end of January. We are also looking at putting on CMDB Governor, Employee Navigator and Ops Swarmer. And then in relation specifically to dashboards, we have got a few Insight Finder sessions coming up. So do take a look at these workshops. They are on the community as well. So you'll see those two that are hyperlinked at the bottom, the calendar, which will tell you what's coming up. And then you've also got the workshop group, which will actually tell you about the ones that we've already presented at. And these are around configuration, how to get yourself started. So I would highly recommend go and have a look at these community pages. I will be sharing those in the thank you email as well. And while we have got Marta and Veronica on, is there anything else that you would both like to add just to complement this webinar that we've done today?
Yes, thank you, Sam. As you are saying, there is a future new configuration webinars, but in the past we have already done service catalog curator and service collaborator. You can check this webinar configuration too. And what we are working on is to do this type of sessions, workshops of configurations in the different languages. For Spanish, for Portuguese, for German, we are preparing this for the future, for the next year. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. And I think that tied nicely to one of the questions that did come up earlier. Someone did ask about Portuguese. So the good news is yes. Okay.
Well, the session, Sam, to differentiate that, we are going to do the workshops in Portuguese, that's sure. But the question and the Q&A, if Portuguese is going to be included on the Insight Finder configuration, that this question should Nikhil answer the question. Okay.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I think that moves us nicely on to our questions, and we've already had quite a few already. So the question that came up, Nikhil, there's one where it says, when will you be able to suppress duplicates the same as it worked in smart reporting? Do you want to take that question?
Yeah, just give me a second. Let me check. When will you be able to suppress duplicates the same as it worked in smart reporting? We'll look at this. We haven't seen this use case as being too widespread. At the moment, our focus is almost entirely on improving the capabilities of Insight Finder. We have barely started. We've just started with a few use cases. There's a lot we need to do in expanding the list of use cases we support, the personas we support in Insight Finder. So for the next several releases, our focus is going to be improving the capabilities of Insight Finder.
Thanks, Nikhil. And then there was another question, which is actually to both yourself and Kashita, and it's just been answered, so I don't think we need to cover that one anymore. Robert asked about the Portuguese as a language. I think we've already covered that with Marta's response, but Rob, if you just want to let us know if that covers, otherwise I will give you the ability to ask us directly. Next question was, are you planning?
I have a question. I have a question for Rob. I have a related question. So is this Portuguese as spoken in Portugal, or is this Brazilian Portuguese?
Portuguese, Portugal. So a large amount of the support users, and one of our largest markets is primarily Portuguese speaker, although obviously they do speak English as well. But the ability to put in natural language in Insight Finder in Portuguese and see results in Portuguese, as we saw in the demo with the Spanish, which looked very good. If the same was available for Portuguese, that would be fantastic.
Yes, we are considering adding Portuguese as a supported language. Yes, we'll continue to expand the list of languages we support, both broadly within Helix Dashboards as well as specifically within Insight Finder.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, the next question we had was we've already answered that one. Sorry, it's still sitting there. That's it as far as questions right now. I'm just giving people the ability to speak to us live. So if anybody else has any other questions, please come off mute.
Hello.
Hello.
Just quick question. I really like the AI features that was demonstrated. Are we going to be able to add more features via AI? Are you going to give us that possibility to customize, maybe to add more queries as we use the tool? Or is it set and all?
We will continue to leverage the capabilities of Insight Finder, especially as newer models get smarter. We will look at more use cases in the future. So some of the use cases we are considering are the ability to summarize. So for example, you see a dashboard with several panels. So we are considering providing the ability to summarize the dashboard results in plain language in all these supported languages, so that you can take that offline and share those results with others. And there are several other use cases we are looking at that allow us to take advantage of the newer models and newer versions of these models.
Okay. So basically, once it's installed in our environment, we would want to be able to add more capability if needed, unless you provide an update, right, an upgrade to this version.
That's correct. The Helix Dashboards is part of the platform common services, which are push upgrades in SaaS environments. So every quarter you will receive the dashboards upgrade automatically. Unlike ITSM or the service management upgrades, you don't need to plan for it. BMC Helix will push the upgrade to you whenever, according to a schedule.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just to add on top of it, for GPT components, since it's part of platform, that needs to be upgraded. So that consideration will be there for Insight Finder.
Yes, thanks for interjecting, Sripal. There are some of our features within Insight Finder have a dependency also on the Helix GPT Agent Studio application, which is part of the ITSM or the service management upgrade. In those cases, you may have to upgrade the service management application along with the platform as well.
Yeah, but the good thing is we also support N-1 platforms. So you can just upgrade your GPT components and not upgrade your platform, right? So you have a ability to just upgrade GPT components which are lighter rather than doing the whole platform upgrade.
All right. Thank you very much for the clarification.
Thank you for your question. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? I think this will be record time, Nikhil, if not, finishing something early. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, Nikhil, as a close, is there anything else that you want to just add as a call to action to our customers and partners today?
No, that's about it. Thank you for attending this webinar and asking questions. We look forward to all of you adopting these newer features of Insight Finder as well as other Helix dashboards, key features of this release. Thank you for your time today.